looking at videos.
Mm-hmm.
Dang. All right, I don't see anything yet.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to day 3 of our Global Healing Summit. I am Lisa Gunshore, and I'm so happy to be your host throughout this entire week as we are healing. And I am with Becky Prater today, and she is with us. And welcome, Becky.
Thank you. So I wasn't able to pull it up on my phone, so you guys will have to just help me if there's questions. Maybe we can do that. Would that work, Lisa? If you could watch and see and let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you guys, thank you so much for joining. I am really excited to do this. You know, I wrote my book in 2018, and started taking classes on how to do Zoom classes. And I mean, I think I took that class in like 2017, and I was afraid to do it. And I knew that this needed to happen because, you know, what I feel like I know and I'm teaching today is something that if we figure out and we do, our life will never be the same. But I just think what I'm realizing is that maybe that right now is the time that this is going to work, and it wouldn't have worked before because people are now ready for this. So we'll start. I want to say you have within you, each of you, the ability to change the planet. You must begin with yourself by loving yourself. And today we're going to talk about love and relationships. But it is the foundation of that is you loving yourself. It's the most important thing. I'll kind of go back and forth between this PowerPoint presentation and talking to you regularly. So let me get my book. Okay, so I don't know if you know this, but I wrote this book called Life Transformed. And it was so interesting because I wrote it based on my own experiences of my life and some of the things that have happened to me in my life. And then I actually became aware of Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and Joe Dispenza and Anita Moorjani and all these people that provided sort of the background and the science behind what it is that I was teaching or trying to talk about in this book. And so it's like I wrote it without knowing any of what they had to say. And then I found out what they had to say and realized we're saying the same thing. They just had science behind it. So I was able to incorporate that all into my book. And so, you know, it's a pretty basic primer about how to live this particular way. All right, so out of chaos comes order. When a person or a country is in a situation of chaos and the tools are there or the desire is there or the push to change is there, then it can be transformed almost instantaneously. It's like a shift on the crust of the earth. One day it's like this, the next day it's like that. It is never the same. This is where we are right now, absolutely. This is where we are. It's changing, and it's changing in what we kind of consider a blink of an eye. Like in a couple of months, it's all changing. And you too can do this in your own life. Like, you know, all these things lead to change, and then one day you change. And that it happens, and it happens in an instant. And so I want to open or welcome you to have this be the day or the time that this changes for you. So just a tiny little bit of background about me is that I teach entrepreneurship at a university in Denver called MSU. I'm a business coach. So I come at this in just the most like grounded in reality way. And it's also a totally woo-woo in a sense also, but there's just a complete integration of it. I go every day to teach people how to build businesses, and I coach people in that. And I realized what needed to happen is that people needed, before they built a business plan, need to have a life plan. And then once they have the life plan, oddly enough, the business plan falls into just kind of falls into place. So the very first, it's happened to me my whole life, but one most significant thing is I had a clothing company called Becky's Yoga Clothing. And I started off, I decided to do this with a business partner because she and I have been working together in many different capacities. Actually, let me unshare this for a second. I'll talk for a minute. She and I had been working together in a lot of making clothes, and did dance costumes in New York, and had a lot of really neat experiences in fashion. And one day we decided it was time for us to do our own clothing company. We were both doing yoga, and so we said, okay, now's the time. So that was like on a Tuesday. So that Friday I went with my husband to Las Vegas, which I'm just not a fan of that town, but we were at the JW Marriott, which is way out by the mountain, and it's a big golf resort where there's no, there aren't very many people. And he was going to the NASCAR races as a part of his business schmoozing event. And I was just going to sit and write and plan around the pool. And so I go out there, it's like 8 a.m. and it's this beautiful, beautiful, just glorious day. And I go out and I sit on this around the pool. And I know you guys have all been to Vegas, these pools are like huge, and there's thousands of seats around these pools, or this pool. And I sit down, I'm getting all set up, and some woman comes and sits right next to me. And I'm not talking like 5 seats away, right next to me. And I looked at her like, are you kidding me? There are 1,000 free seats here and you're sitting right next to me? Well, I'm glad I didn't say anything, because the next thing that came out of someone's mouth is that she was there with her husband, who was selling yoga fabric to the yoga and dance community. And my heart totally skipped a beat. And I was so amazed that, what was that? We made this decision on Tuesday, and this was Friday. This woman's husband, his name is Jay Weatherall. He set me up with all the fabric I ever used. He set me up with my grader, who helped take my patterns from a size medium to all the different sizes, my manufacturers. He essentially was the key ingredient for my business and all the way through my business, just because of that. So what I think happens is we give the universe GPS coordinates of our life, and she comes in and says, yes, here's how we're going to do that. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm not here to tell you how to find a lover. I'm here to tell you how to set the GPS coordinates for what you want your love life and your relationships to look like. And you're going to do that on this, like at the same time, and we're going to talk about that process. Okay, let me pull up my screen again so that, okay. Okay, I also coach people within this process, because what I find is that people have a really hard time doing it. We don't take time for ourselves. We don't take time to strategically plan anything. We might, you might say, oh, what are your goals for the year? And people are like, oh, I don't write goals. Or maybe you do, and you just don't think, oh, hey, what about like a life goal? We might have this year's goal. So I take people through this process because it's really hard to do on your own. And you can just get the book and do it on your own, which is awesome too. I'm a Reiki healer, and I do this thing called RIM, regenerating images in memory. I'm actually going to take you through a session of that to help us understand, discover, excavate our blocks to love and relationship today. So that's one of the things we're going to do. This is what I know about people. This is what I know. You know this too. Most often, we look outside ourselves for the answer. We're reading, studying, listening to podcasts. That's what we're doing. We are constantly looking outside ourselves for the answer. A lot of people are looking to other people to make themselves feel better, to feel loved. And really, it has to come from us feeling loved and feeling worthy of love in order for us to recognize that someone loves us. Because we can have people out there that love us completely, but if we don't feel like we're worthy, we're not going to believe that or feel like it's authentic, or it just doesn't serve the purpose it's supposed to fully serve because we don't connect to it. Our efforts are commonly thwarted by emotional blocks and limiting behaviors. So we're going to take a moment today to go through kind of like a guided meditation, unlocking some of those blocks. The other thing is we let life happen to us rather than make great things happen for ourselves. And today we're gonna take the aspect, either love of self or love in relationships. And we're going to kind of build an action plan or build a plan or take the 6 steps on those aspects to at least get the universe moving in the direction we want it to move for us. So I do this in the book. I talk about 9 aspects of our life. So this might be you might know about Feng Shui, and this is the bagua. And what we usually do is we take this rectangle or this kind of square matrix and we put it over our house. And if we want to stimulate our life and kind of rev up certain parts of our life, we put this over our house with kind of the career life path on the close, like the door, by the door of our house. And so this is how our house is arranged energetically. And so I kind of do this like with my vision board or this whole process, because this gives us an idea to think, okay, well, what about love and relationships? What about creativity and children, or legacy? What about travel and helpful people? It helps us organize ourselves and figure out what we want in these areas. So today we're going to talk about love and relationship, and also the yellow square in the center, you and your well-being, because we know that in order to have a good, loving relationship with somebody, friend, family, partner, you need to be secure in your love for yourself also. Okay, I want you to know you are perfect. Every way you are right now is exactly how the God, universe, source, Gaia needs you to be. I even said Gaia, yes, needs you to be to do the work you're meant to do on this planet, with the people you're connected to, the experiences you've had, your desire for change. You are perfect. However, don't let your desire for change go unanswered, nor think it's a sign of somebody who is never satisfied. This is life's call to be more. It never goes away. It's a divine sense of incompletion. It's how life expands through you. I was at this hot springs one time with this guy. We're all sitting in the hot springs, and in Colorado, they're beautiful in this lovely setting in the mountains. And this guy said something to me like, well, you choose to be content. And I thought, whoa, I mean, talk about a trigger. I was like so pissed about this, because I'm like, no way is that true for me. I am not content because I haven't found the thing. I haven't done the thing. I haven't figured out the thing yet. And so I realized there are people that are, and oh my goodness, that is so awesome. To be content is an awesome thing. It's a beautiful thing. But some of us, that's not it yet. Like, we're not content because we haven't done the thing yet. So make sure you know that if you feel discontent or something's not right, it's because it's not. And it's there, that indicator and that emotion and that feeling is there to get us to move in a different direction and keep moving and keep looking and watching for signs. Totally important. Okay, so here are some basic assumptions. And you might not necessarily agree with all these, but this is just what this whole thing is based on. You are perfectly imperfect. There's no such thing as perfection. You are exactly how you're supposed to be now, and now change. Now we're here to change. Life is a continuous process of experiencing, learning, and refining. You create your own reality. You create your own reality. We are all connected, made of pure energy. The mind is a powerful healer. A field of all possibilities exists, and we can intentionally create the life of our dreams. So what life of your dreams? What do you want? Mostly when I ask people, they can't even tell me, or they think, oh, I would like to be, well, like ask a kid. You ask somebody in a junior high school, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? What are you going to do? What are you going to get your degree in? Honestly, they can think of maybe 10 jobs. Oh, I'll be a nurse or a doctor or a lawyer or a business person, they can think of like 10 jobs. But the truth is, your future is not based on your ability to imagine it or visualize it. Because I'm telling you, if that was the case, I would be screwed. Like, I have a pretty vivid imagination, but I don't know what's out there for me. And I think there's thousands of jobs that are perfect for me, but I can think of maybe 3. Okay, this is so interesting too. I wrote the book, and then I'm like, I was like jobless. Well, not exactly jobless, but almost. I lost my favorite job of my life, which was teaching fashion design at the Art Institute of Colorado. I loved it so much, and then I lost my job. And I had written the book and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like jobless. And I wrote this book about a future beyond your imagination. Who am I? Because I don't have a future beyond my imagination. I don't have a job. In fact, my favorite job went away. So it's the strangest thing. And so then when I was looking for a job, I'm looking, and I'm applying for everything. And it was, it's just just soul sucking when you're doing that kind of job interviewing and stuff, because again, there's so many out there that you just don't even know you're capable of. So this is what we're doing. We're making a plan. We're putting things in place so that these things come to us while we're seeking them. That's the whole point. The other thing is, you are far more worthy than you know. So if you felt like, well, what kind of job are you worthy of? Your idea would be so limited, because it's hard for us to assess our true worthiness. And it's not for us to assess, because source believes that our purpose here is so great. We have no idea. And I don't think we will know until we, move to the next stage of our soul's existence. Also, you are infinitely capable of doing anything you set your heart and mind. Infinitely capable. And it's the idea of, like, so again, somebody says, oh, what are your capabilities? Well, let's see, I can teach, I can write, I can, pretty good on the computer. But the truth is, when you're putting me up against all these other applicants, I pale in comparison, because I've got this batch of information rather than maybe this batch of information. But the truth is, again, we have to take this whole planning process out of the confines of capability, because you are so infinitely capable of doing what you set your heart and mind to do. You can do anything if you choose to do it. So this process is not based on your ability to imagine it. It's not based on your idea of your worthiness, and it's not based on your idea of your capability. Okay, so here's something. Right now, I would like you to get a piece of paper. Actually, you're going to be doing several different writing assignments, or writing activities, I should say. Right now, I'd like you to take a moment and answer these questions. If you could wave a magic wand, how would things be different for you? What would you have that you currently don't? And where would you be right now that is different from where you currently are? So I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to answer these questions for yourself right now. Perfect. Thank you for that. Okay. Waving the magic wand, let me tell you, everyone is making things happen for themselves every day, all the time. It's like you're doing that with your thoughts and your intentions every day. It's the strangest thing. So this is the neat thing, is when you live with intention and you deliberately set up intentions for yourself based on what you know is really important to you. I call these must-haves. Okay, this is what happens. You define what you want out of life. This is kind of like the process. You define what you want out of life. You write intentions as though you already have those things. I create a vision board, and I think that's sort of optional, but I do think that that's fun, because you take those intention statements, put them with an image of something that you believe matches that intention, and then take inspired action toward that vision. Notice and then share what happens. That's important too, because once you start doing the work, you will notice things happening, but you have to pay attention, because if you don't, and if you just think, oh, I'm just, I'm great, but you don't like link your greatness to the fact that you did this work, then you kind of miss miss the magic in it, because when something happens, like I ended up getting a job teaching at Metropolitan State University in Denver. And to me, it was like the best job ever, because all the time, 100% of the time, I help people start businesses. And it's what I love so much. And when I got the job, I was blown away by how wonderful that was. And I knew it was because I had set the intention to get that job, and I put that out there for the universe to help me. And oh my gosh, I was helped. It was amazing. Okay, so this 6-step process, which I thought I had listed the 6 steps. Let me just review them. Step number 1 and 2 is kind of my know thyself, or the know thyself section. It's about kind of figuring out what you want. It's about the questions you answered. Where do you want to be? If you could change something, what would it be? Like, we don't spend very much time doing that, but we're doing it today. And that's so, so, so important. So in a second, I'll have you answer these questions, but I wanted to review that the 3rd step is healing yourself. The 4th step is creating must-haves and defining what it is you want. The 5th step is creating an intention statement as though it's intention statements, as though you already have those things. And the 6th step is taking action toward those things. It's like you say, okay, yes, I'm serious, I'm moving forward. And then the universe comes in, is like, okay, and here's how I can help. And that's what this is all about. That's the six steps to a future beyond your imagination, because it really works. It really works. So on that paper, I want you to write and answer these things. We'll take a little bit more time this time, because I want you to excavate these. These are the things I love about myself: skills, talents, gifts, anything. Just write it, make a big list, and don't think too much about it. Just, it's going to come to you just like that. When people compliment me, the 3 words they use the most are, and my greatest accomplishment so far. So go ahead and spend a little bit of time. We'll do like 3 minutes to answer these questions. And Eve, since you're here, I'll watch for you. And when you're done, I'll figure everybody else is done too. Okay, perfect. So thank you for this. Hey, so one of the reasons why I think this part is so important is no matter what questions you ask or you answer, like I have a whole long list of questions I usually ask people or have people answer. And what happens is it sort of gets your juices flowing. It sort of helps you tap into yourself and your heart. And once we do that, we open that space up and then we can further excavate and heal that space. So the next part is this process called RIM. We're going to be unlocking emotional blocks to love. So we're going to do this right now. And it's, let's see, I'm going to just have my face up so you can see that I'm doing this and you're not distracted by the pictures. Okay. Okay. So this is a meditation. I want you to settle in, get all comfortable, because we're going to be here for maybe about 15 minutes. It's not a really long one, but I want you to go ahead and settle in. And you'll notice that I'm actually reading a script. And I do this because when I'm doing a group meditation, it seems to work better. So you'll see me sort of looking down and reading. I want you to go ahead and sit down and be as comfortable as possible. Taking a few deep breaths. Feel yourself settling in, your body relaxing, your muscles releasing. Maybe roll your shoulders a bit and just let them slump down. Let yourself be welcomed into your chair as though it was made just for you. Feel your awareness sink all the way down into the core of your body. As this is happening, allow your analytical mind to take a back seat in this process, letting your imagination, emotions, and body do the communicating and processing with you today. Your imagination communicates through images, sensations, knowingness, sounds, or voices. You may see objects, people, or animals as a method of communication. It is perfect. It's just perfect. No need to edit. No need to question. No need to question. Okay, so go ahead and allow your imagination to call in a virtual resource or mentor to be with you today who is specifically capable of working with this blocked energy. This blocked energy, the energy you're going to be working with and identifying in a few minutes. They are going to be there to help and support you in this block to love and relationships. This mentor resource is incredibly powerful, providing safety, wisdom, and love. This mentor can be anything or anyone, a deity of your faith, a spirit guide, or an angel. It can be a person you know, living or deceased, a friend, or could be an animal. Whatever shows up for you, just allow this loving and safe presence to be there and provide safety and guidance. And notice too, like where in your presence, in your imagination or your awareness is this guide, is this mentor? Just kind of notice and know that they're there for you, uniquely capable of taking care of anything that needs to happen today in this process. Now that you're supported by a virtual resource, go ahead and bring your awareness back into your body, sinking down into the core of your space. Sensing in your body something that is calling your attention. The place that is holding this block to love. Love from others, love for yourself. Notice your body. What you're doing is you're giving your body a chance to speak to you or communicate in a very neat way. So just allow your body to present a feeling, a tingle, a light, an energy, perhaps a pain, something in your body that holds the energy of love or a block to love. Whatever's coming up for you is just perfect. Now allow your imagination, well, just allow your awareness. Okay, like just notice, actually notice that block, notice that energy in your body. I kind of have to close my eyes. I have to close my eyes because I have to be able to visualize this rather than read about it. So notice where that energy is in your body. And go ahead, you know your virtual resource is there with you and will take care of you no matter what, or they change things, fix things, stop things. Move your awareness into that space, into that energy or that block. Move your awareness into that space of that block in your body. And notice the color and the quality of the energy in that space. Just notice the color and the quality of that space. With your awareness in that space, how does your body feel being in that space? As a tool of communication, your imagination is going to bring up within that space an object. It's going to change that energy that you feel into an object. Allow your imagination to just transform that energy into an object so that you can better understand what it's trying to tell you. Just happen like that. Notice what that object is. Is it a person? Is it an animal? Is it a thing? Just notice. Notice the color. Notice how you feel looking at that object or that person or that thing. Now, looking at this image or person or thing, internally speak to them. What it feels like to have you here is, and just finish the question or finish the statement. And what I want to tell you is, what I want you to understand is what I really need from you now is and anything else that wants to be spoken, speak it now to that person, image, whatever showed up for you. Just say whatever else needs to be said. And how it feels to say this to you is, now move your awareness into the image or the person or whatever showed up for you. Move your awareness into them, into that, knowing that your virtual resource for us as a stream of colored energy coming toward you. Notice what you express to the image coming toward you as the image. And just notice what the color and the quality of that energy is that you now, as that image, are receiving. Notice where it's entering the image. Once this has been fully received, all that was expressed by you to the image, with your awareness in the image, notice how it feels to have received this information from you. Now, looking at the eyes of the eyes or the essence of the image, back to yourself, speak in your mind. What I received from you is, and how it feels to receive this is. What you need to know about me as your greatest block to love is. What I'm here to teach you today is. What I can see from here that you cannot see is. What's important for you to remember is. And anything else the image needs to speak to your being, allow it to be spoken now. And how it feels to say this to you is. When that feels complete, move your awareness back to yourself and notice the stream of colored energy coming from the image back to you. What is the color and the quality of that energy? If you feel it needs to be filtered in any way, your virtual resource will filter the energy before it enters your body. And then notice where it's entering your body. Now speak to the image. Speaking back to the image, what I'm receiving from you is. How it feels to receive this is. What I now know that I did not know before is. How it feels to have this awareness is. And anything else that needs to be spoken back to the image by yourself, go ahead and speak it now. And how it feels to say this to you now is, so looking back at the image, notice how the image looks now. Notice how it looks with all this new awareness and your virtual resource there to help and support you. Do whatever you feel called to do with this block or image. If you need a tool to do what you feel compelled to do, your resource will hand that to you just like that. Notice how that feels in your body now. What is it like on the other side of that block with this new awareness? Notice where that feeling is in your body. If it feels right, allow that feeling to spread throughout your body, your entire body. If that's a good feeling, allow it into every cell of your being. Your resource is with you to make sure your body is completely clear. When you feel like this is complete, just bring your awareness back to yourself. And as this session comes to an end, you fully integrate this new feeling throughout your body, this new positive feeling, this new awareness and understanding into your subconscious, into your awakened conscious mind. As all that integrates, as you sense all your cells aligning, synchronizing with this new awareness, normal feeling returns to your fingers and toes. You become aware of the space around you. Take the time you need for this feeling to fully anchor. When it's complete, take a breath in and open your eyes. Welcome back. So I would love for you, if you could, in the chat box, if you would just let me know in the shortest way, like what came up for you, what was the object, what was the block, what did it represent, if you feel like sharing, because it's so neat. Like, I always have questions about this process and it tends to turn out to be amazing every time. So I'd love to have you share your experience. And I know you can do it in the comments on YouTube, or you can do it in Zoom in the chat box. Now, while we're waiting for any comments to come in, Lisa, do you guys have anything you want to share? Or Eve, do you have something you want to share?
I'm unmuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, my typing is too slow, apparently. Yeah, my mother came to me, and I guess I didn't really realize that I was holding guilt that I didn't understand in her last months of life. She was communicating her need to connect to me in a way that felt judgmental when she couldn't reach me, when I didn't respond right away. And I actually resisted her outreach even more because it felt heavy to me. And then she had a fatal fall, and she lingered in semi-lucid state for a little while. And I've been carrying that guilt that I did not respond when she needed me so much, but she wasn't communicating from the heart. So we connected and we had that communication. And she's in joy now, and she holds no negative thoughts towards me at all. She's around. She's my angel. And that made me realize that for myself, I have to be mindful to communicate my fears. I don't always have to be in strength. And I think that's what it was for her. So that's a lesson for me.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Oh, that's so beautiful. Now, was she your virtual resource, or who showed up as your virtual resource?
It was her. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. Oh, good. Thank you, Eve. Thank you. Okay, it looks like somebody, Sherry wrote, it was amazing. What came up were people from childhood that couldn't give me what they didn't have themselves, love and acceptance. Oh, that's from Kathleen. Oh my gosh. That is amazing. How incredible. Wow. Okay, I'm going to keep watching these. So as we go through the next steps, we're going to talk about these. So if you keep adding these in, because we'll bring them up and talk about them, because this is such a cool thing. All right, so I'm going to go back to the next process and the next step. I believe there's a lot of really neat ways that we can heal. And I know you guys, because you're here on this call, you do this stuff all the time. Like, one of the most important things is watching your mind inputs. Oh, especially now. You guys, I watched The Tiger King the other day, and I don't know if you've seen it, but it was just the most hateful show. I just can't believe it. And I afterwards, it's like I churned through and worked through that icky stuff I saw all night. And this is what happens. Like, when you were young and your teacher said, if the last thing you do is study at night, you're going to be processing that information all night. And this is what we do. We do. And so when we're watching shows that are really erosive and angry, and we're processing that all night. So it's so, so, so important to watch what you put into your head. We all know this. This is nothing new. Focus your thoughts, because thoughts become things. That's a really important piece about healing. Set strong personal boundaries, which I'm notoriously, I'm getting better all the time. Notoriously getting better about this. Setting intentions and acting daily, and that's what we're going to do next. Okay, so the next step is this, and I'm going to have you do it. I'm going to show you 2 different ones, and I'm going to give you time to actually work on this by yourself. Okay, so the idea is defining the future. You're giving it GPS coordinates. You're giving source GPS coordinates. You're really giving it to all the people, all the collective, all your guides, everybody that's there to help you in your life. Just like you might say to a friend, hey, this is what I want to do. And that person's going to do whatever they can to help you make that happen. It's the same thing with all of our non-physical beings. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. Write down what your must-haves are for love and relationship. Love and relationship. You might say something like, I am loved for who I am. I am confident and happy with or without a partner. I have a partner who communicates well, where I feel supported and, let me move this thing out of the way, where I feel safe expressing my concerns and desires. You might say true intimacy and great sex, keeping this aspect of our life playful and fresh. You might say a partner who loves me wholeheartedly but allows me space to be myself and explore my desires independently. We bring out the best in each other. So I'm gonna show you another slide, and then I'm gonna give you a few minutes to do this or the other or both. So this, maybe I should have put this second, because the other one that I think is important, equally as important or maybe more, is, I did have it first, defining your authentic self, or you. What are your must-haves about who you are? This is what I want you to do. Your core values. I want to live in this place. I want my life to look like this. I want to surround myself with this. I can support myself in this way. That would be defining your future based on you and who you are and your authentic self. So we're going to take about 3 minutes. I'm going to have you list 3 to 5 things in each of these categories. Your must-haves, like the things you absolutely know are essential. Write those down for this authentic self piece or for love and relationships. Maybe you're not interested in a relationship with a partner, but what you do want are supportive friends, supportive family. Write that down. 3 to 5 things in either one of these categories or both of these categories. And please just do that. I wouldn't mind also if you copy and paste, well, if that's a thing, or write them in the chat box so that we can see what those are and talk about them. I'll give you about 3 minutes to do this. Excellent. So I wanted to, so the one about people from childhood that couldn't give me what they didn't have themselves, that was from Sherry, which is amazing. Kathleen said fear, I didn't deserve or couldn't manifest. That's beautiful. Nicole said release of responsibilities for others and their decisions. Oh my gosh, so amazing, so amazing. Thank you for that. Okay, so now that you've written these must-haves, okay, I want you to take the must-haves, and I'm going to have you write power intentions. So this is using your must-haves. You're going to write 2 to 3 sentences. They have to be positive statements as though it's already yours. So what I'll show you a couple more slides because I want to show you what I did and what I said. So just so you get a sense of how they translate into statements of already having this. So I put mine in a vision board that's based on the Bagua, which you can see is this arrangement. On my website, you can download this stuff so you can put the information right in these squares. Okay, so here I say, let's just say, I'll use the one I said for love. I am loved as deeply or more than I love. My husband demonstrates love through many love languages by saying beautiful things to me, doing thoughtful things, by spending time with me, and by listening and supporting me. So you see how it's, when I wrote that, it didn't feel like that was what was happening in my life, but that is what I wanted. And so that's what I'm trying to say. Like you're writing it as though it's already yours, even though you don't have it. Here's me. I'm a trailblazer, philanthropist, lover, loved, in the flow of money and abundance, guided by spirit, healthy, strong, inspiring, writer, speaker, teacher, healer. So you see what I mean by putting it into an intention statement, that really you own what it is your future will be. And it's very open. Like that could mean so many things. So many, I mean, it could mean so many things. It just includes all the things that are the most important. So go ahead and let's see. Okay, so go ahead and spend a moment, another maybe 2 minutes, writing a power intention for one of those two categories or both of those categories, about love and relationships, or about you loving you and being you. Remember, they have to be positive too. So I don't want you to say something like, I don't want a guy who's going to suck me dry, you know, or depend on me for money. I don't want that. It needs to be something positive, 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 not in the negative. Excellent. Okay, perfect. So, when a person actually sets out and does all 9 aspects of their life, you can see that it's a big step. It's big. Like, you know, most of the time we think, oh, my life's great in what, you know, some of these ways. We don't need anything to be different. But what's kind of nice is when you put it in a format like this and you're actually adding, like coming up with an image that represents it, as well as wording, and you address all these 9 aspects of life. It's kind of like what I would imagine somebody might want to do at the beginning of every year or once a year to redefine. Because when you say, I like here in my health and wellness, it said we live a healthy lifestyle, getting out into nature, welcoming best foods into our body, making good consumption decisions. Our intake provides the clearest connection to spirit. I feel like that is my life right now. And so we're just being grateful. And that itself is a vibration that helps support our future in a really good, positive way. Okay, and so the last step is the idea of building an action plan, taking action. It's like you step, you know, 1 foot out the door toward your intention, and the universe kind of brings it all in. And so, so here's what I like encourage you to do is to, on that same paper, write, this is the thing, these are 3 things I'm going to do to move closer to that future beyond my imagination, or however you want to word it, and list 3 things that you're going to do about yourself right now to make this happen for you. Excellent. So here's some things, some other things that I wanted to say. Some big things that a person could do that, I mean, you guys have very specific things that you wanted, and that's so important. A couple of the other things I think that are really good about making change are meditation. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've spent my whole life making excuses as to why I didn't meditate. And then I met a guy named Ben Decker, who's like a meditation specialist, and met him at Rhythmia. And he kept saying, yeah, and eventually you will, and then you'll never go back. And sure enough, I did. And I've never stopped. I just don't know how life would exist without it. So important. Clean up your self-talk, watch what you allow into your body. And that is everything. That's food, and that's TV, and it's music, all of it. Watch what goes in. Make sure it's high vibrating. Journaling, that's a really good one. Right now, especially because, you know, someday our great grandchildren are going to read our journals about what happened during this crazy world changing event. Move your body in any way you feel. Grounding, practicing mindfulness. I mean, these things, all you know all these things. Okay, so going forward, you know, just today in today's practice, we answered some questions about ourselves. We did a little bit of healing through recognizing a block and getting more information about that block. We wrote must-haves and intention statements and came up with a few action steps to get there. So now the idea is to just let go of expectations completely. Like, you know, we don't need to know how that's going to happen. We don't need to know the details of what's going to happen, because that, you know, if you say, I want what's in my highest good, my highest good, you know, like you might ask for a partner that supports your highest good. Well, who knows what that is except the universe? We don't know what that is. We might think it's this, and this. So you know what is really, really important to you, and it's important to have some of those things, and it's good to define. It's like, say you say, okay, you're given GPS, I want to go to San Francisco. Yeah, that's a great idea, but maybe you need to go to somebody's specific house in San Francisco, so you need to give those details. But maybe not. Maybe you just need to go to San Francisco because you know you need to aim in that direction. You're going to figure out what to do once you get there. So you can give lots of description, a lot of information, or not, and just let go of all expectations. I also would love to have you guys stay in touch with me, because the process of this Life Transformed, the whole thing about this book and the whole work that I feel like is important for us to start doing, um, needs to be shared. Like, we need to hear about the things that have worked, and the victories of this process. I want you to stay open to greatness, and remember, this is not about how worthy you are or how capable you are, and it just cannot be limited to your imagination or ability to think about what it is, or even how to get there, because it's not up to you. But I want you to notice the changes and the shifts in yourself and in others. And I want you to notice when it happens, link it back to the work you did here today. It's so important, because all of a sudden, like in 2 months, you've got a partner and you're like, oh my God, he's like the best thing I can't even imagine I would have ever found. And you need to know that you made that happen. You made it happen because you did this work. And this is just a sample. And throughout the next couple of weeks or days or whatever, you might realize, okay, I need to refine it. I get what she's saying. I need to change it up to be this. You might have a partner that is totally, or you go on a few dates and you realize, oh my God, no, I don't want what I thought I did. And then you can change it and craft it to be something different. And it's such an important thing. So just as kind of a, let's see, do I want to say this as a conclusion and kind of statement? So here's the very first time it happened. This isn't the very first time it happened to me, but the most significant time in my life this happened to me. It was this. In college, I was dating just people that, like, I had totally had money when I was going to college because I was paying my own way. I had 3 jobs, and I was working my butt off, and it was awesome. Like, it was great. It made me who I am today. But what was happening is I was like dating people whose parents were paying and they didn't have any money. So I'd be paying for my dates. And it was so annoying to me. And then I was raped by some stupid guy. And I was so, oh my God, it was just terrible. And I said, I will not, I don't even know where I said this. Maybe I wrote it in my journal. I will not be with another person unless they open my car door, they pay for everything, and they're as passionate about what they do as I am about what I do. I laid those 3 must-haves down, and I just didn't think about it at all. Not another moment. I didn't think about it at all. But 6 months later, this person called me up and asked me out on a date, and he picked me up in this, like, a probably 1972 bug that was called Slug Bug Ugly, I think, where there's like rust everywhere, the floor pans, there had to be boards on the floor pans to keep the battery up and off from falling out of the car. I mean, this is what we used to drive cars like this. So he opened my car door of that car. It was like the crappiest car you could ever imagine. And he opened my door and I was like, whoa, that's neat. That's weird. And then we went to dinner, and he's one of those people that just like pulled out his credit card or money, and he threw it down like, you are not paying. And then we were having the dinner, and he was talking about engineering like it was the most important thing in the world. And, it's not interesting to me at all. I was like, what? Yuck. Except he was so passionate about it. And it's not my job to be passionate about what he's passionate about, but the fact that he was amazing. And I knew that very night, that very first night, that was the person sent for me. And I'm still married to that person 33 years later. I mean, it's kind of amazing. So it's like, this really works, and just allow it to work. Watch and notice. And I would love to hear what your experience was and what your intention statements are. So if you wouldn't mind, if you would, write those down into the comment box if you can, or somehow, because I really want to see. And also, if you have any questions, please send me questions. Oh, good. Regular meditation practice. Oh my God, it's so important. Do you actually have a regular meditation practice now, or not quite so much? Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, it's hard to do, and once you do, you're just like, oh my God, I'll never not do it again because it's so awesome. Well, I think what I'd like to do is just have you guys continue to write those things, and let's just keep this going through the YouTube comment box. I would love to have you go after this and write those in and keep this going. And I have a Life Transformed group on Facebook, and you can see it's, you know, not very well used at this point because this is really sort of it's kind of a new thing. It's kind of a new thing. So I would like to have you get on and kind of join the conversation, and let's rev it up and kind of be there for each other and sort of watch. You know, it's a place to celebrate these things so we can connect up what happens to us with what work we did or what we did to get us there. Okay, I think that's all today. And then on Wednesday, we're actually going to do the same sort of thing, but we're going to be working with career. Oh wait, here's another. Let's see. Truly love myself, every part of me, forgive and love. Oh yes, I love that. It is all about self-love. Yes, with unconditional love. Love myself to be able to heal and be compassionate to myself. Yay! Okay, I want to be with my divine masculine who is kind, respectful, and we are comfortable. Oh my gosh, yay! I love that. Thank you. Okay, so if you have any questions for me, please put it in the comment box. Join the Life Transformed group. You'll see there's a butterfly on it, so you can't miss it. And I would love to continue the conversation and also continue to work with you on this. Oh yeah, what I was saying is that we're going to do it about career and life path. Oh, and abundance on Wednesday at 5:55 or right around 6. So please join me for that. I'll do a little bit of an introduction, and then we're going to kind of go right into this. So I hope to see you then. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.